Welcome back, another episode. Episode 10 of the Frasier Reboot, Reindeer Games. Even though the Frasier remake is a generally engaging program, not every episode is written equally. Kelsey Grammer, the cherished highbrow therapist, has concluded his first season after 10 episodes. The revival, which takes place in Boston, follows Frasier back to his former Cheers haunt. Although he is familiar with the area, a lot has changed since he last resided in Beantown. After 2 decades of ups and downs following the conclusion of his first Seattle-based series, Frasier is finally focusing on the things that really matter in life as he begins his third and final act. For Grammer, who also produces the new show, launching the Frasier Reboot was no easy feat, even if the original show was a critical and fan favorite. Except for him, the revival lacks the other original cast members for various reasons. This presented significant story problems for the undertaking. Though it would still be fantastic to watch Jane Leeves Daphne and David Hyde Pierce's Niles, the Paramount Plus creative team managed to make Frasier's new existence lovable. With the availability of all 10 episodes on streaming services, this is the ideal moment to take a look back at the entire series. Frasier's ability to locate an apartment in Boston across from Freddy's is evidence of his current wealth. Encouraged by his encounter with Martin, Frasier believed that being close to Freddy would hasten their reconciliation. Instead, things rapidly deteriorated as they couldn't agree on the majority of issues. The type of dynamic that may be anticipated from the series was further defined in Moving In, the second episode of the Frasier Reboot. That being said, there were a few awkward moments in it, which was strange given that the pilot episode had gone somewhat more smoothly. Nevertheless, it demonstrated David's comic ability as he imitated Niles' amusing handkerchief performance. The Frasier Reboot's penultimate episode focused on Frasier and Freddy overcoming the challenges of their co-living arrangement. The matter led to a heated dispute concerning the older Crane's denial of his son's offer to assist him, even though the younger man was willing to assist. The concept for the 9th episode of the Frasier Reboot, The Fix Is In, made sense on paper. It would enable the program to transition into a more dramatic plot at the precise moment when Freddy and Frasier were beginning to get along. Unfortunately, the Frasier remake episode misusing Martin's legacy makes the excursion less entertaining, aside from the fact that it feels crowded. When he returned to Boston in the Frasier Reboot, Frasier could have easily retired if he had had more money to spend during this incarnation. Instead, he made the decision to live life to the fullest by stepping into an uncharted professional area. However, this immediately backfired when he realized that his students only wanted to seek his opinion. The crucial narrative holes in Frasier's background were filled by learning about his life in Chicago while serving as Dr. Crane's host. Even still, there was something unsettling about witnessing him coerced into doing something he no longer desired. There were similarities between the Frasier Reboot Episode 5, The Founders Society, and his previous attempts to integrate into the exclusive Seattle social scene, except that this time he was doing it to fit in at Harvard. Naturally, Frasier gave in to his darker impulses, which had the opposite effect. Even though it was an eventful night for Frasier, the show eventually paired Grammer with fellow comic genius Nicholas Lyndhurst as Alan Cornwall. Their obvious chemistry made their simple yet entertaining routine together all the more enjoyable. If only Frasier had made more use of it. As part of the Frasier revival, Grammer also took on a directing role for the 4th episode, Trivial Pursuits. The excursion provided a glimpse into Freddy's Boston life, especially his routine as a firefighter. But its more sentimental moments were its greatest strength. The Crane men's talk after Frasier tells Eve why he hasn't supported his son's career felt like old Frasier, back when it was gradually building Martin's interaction with his firstborn. While there were many belly laugh-inducing moments, the show also contained a hint of sadness. Freddy's Birthday, the 7th episode of the Frasier Reboot, featured Bebe Neuwirth's comeback to the Cheers, Frasier universe as the franchise's Ice Queen. As one of the best divorced couples on TV, Grammer and Neuwirth fit into their roles with ease, making for an extremely enjoyable vacation full of nostalgic memories. It is currently unknown if Lilith will make a comeback in the Frasier remake in the future. Having said that, there are plenty of story opportunities to bring her back, especially given the show's hint that she and Frasier might one day get back together and her connection to Freddy. Frasier might still feel lonely in Boston, particularly as he marked his first holiday without Martin. Reindeer Games, the Frasier Reboot finale, focused on his sorrow at the loss and Freddy's desperate attempts to support him during the trauma. Among the many unforgettable moments was the amusing scenario where Alan and David teamed up. But the reconciliation between Frasier and Roz stood out. Considering Peri Gilpin's limited screen time, the Paramount Plus series impressively made the most of it. For more, subscribe.